yesterday we started off with changes in the master data, okay, and we discussed what has been the impact on creation of customer and vendor, okay, how they have been replaced with the new transaction, which means you need to create them as a business partner now mandatorily. So this is not something not possible in ECC. In ECC also, if you want, if you are using components like CRM, SRM, maybe FSCM, in those cases only we were required to create a business partner. But now, even if you don't want to use these components, you still want to process with your normal core business processes like SD, then also before you do any kind of transactions, in order to create the master data, these old transactions are not at all available, and you need to create a business partner for each and every customer and vendor that you want to use in your core modules. Okay, and I told you the second thing in the master data that we are going to discuss is material master data. Okay, so we'll start with material master data today. We'll see what is the difference in creation of the material master data compared to ECC. Okay, so here it is not like business partner, it is not like customer. I'm not saying that this is a new transaction completely. Same transaction, MM01, will be used to create the material masters even in SAP S4HANA also. Okay, other option obviously is you can create the material master using SAP Fiori app now. Okay, but otherwise it is not like XD01 has been replaced with BP. There is no replacement of transaction here. The first difference you will observe is this is my S4HANA screen, and what I'll do is I'll also open ECC screen, which will help us to compare the two. Okay, this is your ECC screen and this is S4HANA screen. The first thing that you will note in this transaction is just see at the length of material. Okay, the size of this field. Okay, why this is why this size has been looks like increased? Because the length of material number has been increased here. Any idea what was the maximum length of material in ECC? In ECC, when I want to create a material, what can be the maximum size, or I can create a material number? Okay, Vivek, you're right. So it was 18 digits. Okay, you cannot have more than 18 digits whenever you are creating the material master. So let's say, for example, there are some industries which are using the materials which are more than 18 characters. Okay, the mostly automotive industries, they had this requirement not now, around 15-20 years back. They asked SAP that the functionality that you provide, it only allows us to create the materials with 18 digits, but in our case the length is not sufficient. We have the materials which is having more than 25-30 characters. So what is the solution? So SAP already provided the solution in the form of, there is an industry specific solution, DIMP. Okay, and most of the automotive industries where this requirement was, they were using this industry solution. Okay, and if you activate this industry solution, system will support up to 40 characters. Okay, so this is only applicable for the customers who are using DIMP solution, discrete industry for automatic industry something. So that solution was used to make sure that this requirement is served. Okay, if you're not using DIMP, system by default allows only 18 characters. Now, if you see SAP S4HANA, what they have done is, irrespective of which industry, okay, they have just added this capability that it may happen that some other industries also require this requirement. So instead of focusing on a particular industry, or maybe they have kept it open for all the customers that if they have any kind of such requirement where they want more than 18 characters which are supported by SAP, that can be easily handled in SAP S4HANA, because now it is by default allowing you to hold the material number for up to 40 characters. Okay, so that was the background, like why exactly this requirement came. This requirement was not new. This requirement was from the customers from 15-20 years back. They already got this requirement solved by SAP in the form of some industry solution. If they install that, then they get this requirement. But now it has been made as public, like without any activation of industry specific solution or without implementing any SAP note. All the customers are free to use these 40 characters in SAP S4HANA. Okay, so if I try to create a material, let's say with more than 18 characters. So as we know, there was a restriction in ECC that you cannot use more than 18 characters. But in SAP S4HANA, as it is allowing me to add up to 40 characters, if I try, I'm still getting this error. What is the error? The error is the material number is longer than the length set. Now what is this length set? We already know that SAP supports this up to 40 characters. But there is another configuration where out of 40 characters, how much you want to use, that you need to specify. Okay, this is again not a new configuration. In ECC also, although SAP supports 18 characters by default, if you want, you can specify out of those 18 characters, how many are you going to use in your scenario. So in this configuration, if you go and say, I'm not going to use more than 10 characters, system will not allow you to create any material more than 10 characters, having the length more than 10 characters. Okay, so what it is saying, the material number is longer than the length set. If I open, what is saying, the material number, this one, this is exceeding the length of 18 characters. Okay, why? Because currently in this configuration, it is specified that the maximum length can be only 18 characters. Okay, which is currently defined for material numbers in customizing. What is the procedure to overcome this? Either enter the shorter material number or ask your system administrator to increase the allowed length of material number in your system. Okay, and this is a configuration. I can directly click on this, which will take me to that particular activity. Here you can see, although technically system is supporting up to 40 characters, but we explicitly specified here that we are not going to use more than 18 characters. Okay, if I exceed this to 25, the system will allow me to have the materials with more than 18 characters up to 25 characters. Okay, so again, if I enter 25, it will not allow me to create a material with length 26. It will only allow me up to 25 characters. So this is the old configuration. Again, this is not a new configuration. This you were using earlier also to specify the leading zeros, lexicographical, all these things are same. There is no change in that. Only thing is, earlier this was only the maximum value that you can enter here was 18 characters. Now you can enter up to 40 characters. Okay, this is a transaction OMSL which we were already using. Another important thing here is, even though if I try to exceed this length, okay, to 20 characters, I don't know whether it will throw the error here or not. Let's try. It is throwing the error. Why it is throwing the error is because before you come onto this screen, there is another screen, there is another configuration where you need to first specify that although SAP has provided this functionality where you can use extended field length, but is it required for your business? Let's say for my business, I'm happy with 18 characters. Then why should I go with this functionality? I want to deactivate this functionality, for example. I'm not going to use it. So there is a possibility that you can decide, first of all, whether this extended field length functionality needs to be activated for your business or not. By default, it is deactive. So although from technical point of view, you can use up to 40 characters, but you can specify whether you are happy with 18 characters or you really want to go for 40 characters. Okay, so before you come onto this screen, there is another screen. Let me open that. So you go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG, again cross application components. There are a lot of configurations which you will find new in cross application components. So even when we'll be talking about the new output determination, we'll be talking about credit management, many things you will find that they are coming under the cross application components. Okay, so within cross application components, you have something called as general data. Yeah, general application functions. Within cross application components, you have general application functions. Within this, you have this functionality, field length extension. If you activate this extended field length, click on new entry. Currently, you can see it is unticked. This means this functionality is still not activated in this system. If you want to make it active, you first need to click here, press enter. What it is saying, an entry already exists with the same key. Okay. Instead of new, I'll click on change. Just give me a minute. We're already in the change mode. Let me see this. Okay, display SAP note. This is very important. If you want to activate this functionality, SAP suggests that you have properly understood the requirement. Okay, that is the reason they have provided this SAP note here. If you go to 1511 system, you will not find this SAP note. This was only made available in 1610. Although this SAP note was available, but you will not find here in the same screen. Why it is asking you to go through this? Because you need to be sure you should not use this particular functionality for testing purpose in your production environment or in your test quality or wherever environment. The reason is, if you are 100% sure that yes, in my business I need up to 20 characters, that is the reason I want to activate this functionality, then only go with this. What will happen otherwise is, if you just activated this, you created some of the materials with 20-25 characters, and after that you realized, oh, this is okay, now I'm okay with 18 characters, you gone back. So whatever materials were created with 20 and 25 characters, you can understand that there will be the data loss for that. Because if you are mentioning that I'm only going to use 18 characters, and if you already have some materials with more than 20-25 characters, they are not going to be visible in the complete form in any of the transaction, because you are saying I'm only using 18 characters. That is the reason SAP is strongly recommending that if you are really sure, 100% sure, yes, this functionality needs to be activated, then only activate this functionality, otherwise just skip this. Okay, another important thing. So although this functionality is available, if you are working in the distributed system landscape, what is distributed system landscape? Distributed system landscape means this is not the only server. If you are working on multiple SAP systems and you are transferring the data either inbound or outbound, let's say there is another system in place, every time you create a material master, there is an Ad-hoc which is triggering and it is creating the material in that particular server also. So what will happen is, if that server is still not SAP S4HANA and if it is not using DIMP solution, then even if you create the material with 20 characters here, when it will flow to that particular system, again there will be data loss, because that can only accept the materials up to 18 characters, right? So all these things you need to be very careful before you decide to activate this, because it is not only activation in this system, you need to think about where the data is flowing from this system or it is going to some other system from here. All those things must be considered before you activate this functionality. Okay, so that is the reason SAP has provided this SAP note, that please go through this SAP note to find out whether you really need it or not, and what will be the things you will be losing if you continue this and after that you decide to come back. Okay, so you need to confirm here that yes, I hereby confirm that I have read SAP note, and then also I want to activate this functionality. I'm just trying to show you how can I tick this. Activate extended material number functionality. Yes. So instead of new, you just need to click on that particular button, press enter, then only this field will become available. You need to tick here and save. Okay, I don't want to save it now because it will create some inconsistencies, but this is how you can do it. And please don't try this in the system, because last time somebody tried and there were a lot of materials which we were not able to use later on. Okay, so because there are some demo kind of systems, sorry, demo kind of company codes which are also existing in this server, which is actually being used in some of the production means some of the important critical activities. So they suggested us not to touch this particular part. But this is how you can activate it, and you can click on save. Once this activity is done, then you come to this screen which I shown you. Okay, currently it is not allowing. Why it is not allowing? Because that particular activation is not done from there. Once that activation is done, then you can come here and you can specify that, okay, now I have the choice of up to 40 characters. I'll enter here how many characters I want to use, click on save, and next time when you create a material master, currently as it is throwing error here, it will not throw error, it will allow you to have more than 18 characters. Okay, this is whatever we discussed from the standard point of view. Now let's talk about some technical changes. What technical changes are required and what will be the impact on custom codes. So if I show you ECC, all the tables, very importantly, let's talk about Mara table. Let me just come out of this first. Okay, very importantly, Mara table. So I'll go to, this is my EHP7 system and Mara. Okay, instead of SE69, it will be good if I go to SE11. Okay, what you can see here is in table Mara, material number field MATNR is having the length of 18 characters set here. Okay, whatever we discussed till now, that was from the configuration point of view. You can configure accordingly. But technically, system also has to define what is the maximum length that the material can store in the table level, right? One is from the user screen point of view and second is from the table point of view. So currently, if I talk about ECC, the length of MATNR field was 18 characters. If I show you same thing in S4HANA, okay, here you can see it is 40 characters. So this is 40 characters even if you don't activate this functionality. So it is capable of holding the 40 characters in the system. You need to specify whether out of this 40 you want to use 18 or lesser than that, or maybe whatever you want to use you can specify in the configuration. But technically you can see in this table level it can support up to 40 characters. Now this is not only relevant to Mara. There are a lot of tables in SAP which are using material number field. For example, MARC, MARD, even if you talk about some tables which are not directly related to material but they are holding the material number. Okay, let's take an example of MSEG. Okay, in MSEG also every transaction is having a one line for each and every material movement. So there are multiple tables in SAP which are using this field MATNR, and SAP has already made sure that wherever this MATNR is getting used, not only in the tables, all the technical objects, any kind of user exit, any kind of body, whatever are the standard things which are provided by SAP, they made sure that MATNR is supporting up to 40 characters. So from standard point of view, you don't need to worry, you not get any kind of problem. But when you talk about custom codes, if you have already written some custom codes which are using this MATNR field. Now in those custom codes, there are two ways to write that code. Okay. First way is you means your ABAPer has written the code that, okay, if you want to know what is the field length of field MATNR, go to table Mara and see whatever is the field length available there, just take it. Okay, in that case, your current custom code, whatever you have written, it will be working without impact. Why? Because even if the length has been changed from 18 to 40 characters, you are asking your code, you are not hard-coded 18 there. You are asking your code to go to Mara and see what is the field length every time when that program is executed. So if it will come to Mara, it will automatically identify, okay, this has been increased from 18 to 40 characters. But in some of the custom codes, if your ABAP person has written specifically 18 hard-coded, okay, that okay, I know my MATNR is always going to be 18 characters. So forget about going into some table and find out how much fields are allowed. In that case, that is not going to work. If you are activating this functionality, you need to make sure that you go to that place wherever there is an impact and you need to change that code. Now, let's say you have written hundreds of codes. There are hundreds of custom codes which are written in a particular system. How are you going to go to each code one by one and find it out whether it is written properly or not, whether this will work or not? Okay, for that, SAP has already provided a very good tool called as Custom Code Analyzer. Not only for material numbers, wherever you have written the custom code which is going to be impacted. For example, today, if I want to know the available stock for a particular material on a particular plant, my current code directly goes to table MARC and it takes the data from unrestricted quantity. But now I know that that field is not at all available. That is a field which is not going to be updated anymore. So what will happen to my custom code? So custom code, whatever there will be the impact on the custom codes, you have a tool called as Custom Code Analyzer, which you will be using to identify out of my all the custom objects, which of the custom objects will work as it is and where I need to make some adjustments before they can be used in SAP S4HANA. Okay, so what I wanted to highlight here is you don't need to check anything manually in the system. Wherever material number has been used in your custom code, when you run this custom code analyzer tool, it will tell you that these are the places where you have hard coded that the material number will be used only for 18 characters, while in the configuration you said that I'm going to use material for 20 or 25 characters. Okay, so that adjustment only you need to make. Once you get the report, you need to involve your ABAPer again to make sure that the same adjustment has been made before that report or that custom object is used in SAP S4. Okay. Any questions till now before I show you the other changes apart from extended material length? No questions? Okay. Terry has a question. What is the length of vendor material? Vendor material length is not changed, Terry. That is same. How much was it earlier? It is exactly same without any impact. Okay, let me show you, Terry. So in purchase info record, Terry has a question. She's asking what will be the impact on vendor material number. Sorry, am I in S4? Yes. Where do you enter that, Terry? Which tab? This is the general data. Where can I find that number? This one, supplier material number, right? This is still 18 characters. Yes, Terry, this is only supported whatever it was earlier. There is no change in that. Okay. Now coming to the other changes. If I go to MM01 once again, so as I told you, now I cannot use more than 40 characters. Let's say I'm using the internal number range and I select this industry sector and the material type. When I press enter, okay, these are all the different tabs. Okay, if you compare the tabs, there is one additional tab here. Okay, this is fine. Basic 1, basic 2, classification, these are all fine. This advanced planning, this is something new. Okay, this advanced planning was not available in ECC. This is only available for the first time in SAP S4HANA, that too in 1610. What is the purpose of this advanced planning? What is advanced planning first of all? I think you are all aware of APO. Okay, APO is a tool which allows you to perform advanced planning, which is not possible directly in current ECC system. So if you are using APO, normally it is the separate box. You connect it with ECC, you do the planning in APO and you get the actual pictures from ECC. So what is happening is every time there is a data movement, you move the data from ECC to APO. If you remember, I told you during the introduction session to SAP S4HANA that going forward, plan is to bring the functionalities which are available in CRM, SRM, APO, EWM, which are available on the separate box as of today. The plan is to bring them all in one single system. Okay, and that process is already started now. So some of the things slowly they are bringing directly from the other components to main ECC component, or I'll not say ECC, main S4 component. So that is what is happening. So this is advanced planning. This particular thing was not available in ECC because in ECC, if you want to do the advanced planning, we were doing via APO, which was a separate instance. But in SAP S4HANA, as of today, I'm not saying that complete APO is already merged, but the process is started and some of the things you can directly do in S4 core system. That is the reason these are some of the fields which are relevant to advanced planning which you were doing in APO. Now you can, some of the things you can directly do in S4 core system, and in order to add that information in the material master, you can directly use this particular tab. So earlier what was happening? Apart from this advanced planning, all other things you were entering in ECC. The master data things which were related to advanced planning, you were entering in APO. Now, some of the functionalities of APO, they are directly available on the core system. That is the reason you are required to enter the advanced planning details directly in main material master, so that you don't need to maintain two different objects. Apart from that, whatever tabs are visible, basic data, classification, these are all same. there is no change, but within the tabs there might be some changes in the fields. That is exactly what I'm showing you now. So what I'll do is I'll just create one material with some of the basic information. I'll enter the basic data, okay, sales organization data, because this is also something which we'll need to demonstrate the sales related scenarios. Foreign trade export, I'll show you what is the change. Purchasing, foreign trade import also we need. Purchase order text, let's talk about MRP also. And finally, the storage location, accounting, okay, fine. Okay, so now our plant is SL13. I think storage location is also SL13, and sales org, again same. This one is sorry, it is it SL13 or SL11 in our case? I think in our case it is SL11, right? And S3. Okay. Okay, the company code SL11 does not exist or has not been fully maintained. Standard error in ECC if you don't maintain the company code details in materials management. Okay, so if I click on this question mark, we can see that out of these three things, something is missing. So either the company code itself is not created, we are 100% sure that is created, we enter the global parameters, but what we have not done is we have not maintained the company codes for materials management. Okay, I will click on this screen. This will take me to maintain company codes for materials management, which is coming under logistics general, material master, basic settings, maintain company codes for materials management. This is a transaction code OMSY, very standard transaction even in ECC also. Okay, here I need to click on, or I need to search my company code first, which is SL11, and I need to specify which year is currently going on in materials management. So it is 2017 and we are using K4, so it is starting from Jan to December. So we are already in the 7th month, which is July. Okay, that's it. Click on save. Just come back now. Okay, so now even if you try to execute once again, it will throw the same error. You need to go out first. I'll come out of the screen. MM01. Enter. I'm selecting the same thing which we selected earlier, foreign trade, purchasing, foreign trade again, MRP, general data, accounting, that's it. So plant SL11 and S3. Okay, now I can enter the description. So let's say the description is, this is test material for SL13. Unit of measurement, let's keep it as EA. Material group, let's keep it as whatever is available. Okay, let's keep on pressing enter for mandatory information. We'll talk about the changes. Sales org is not required. Most of the things are same. I'll just enter this tax information here. Availability check we'll focus on when we'll be talking about MRP in detail. Yes, this is one thing which I want to show you. Foreign trade management. Okay, in order to show you the difference, let me again go to ECC. I'm trying to do the same thing, MM01, enter. I just want to show you export data and import data. For plant, let's keep it as 0001, 0001, and I think 01. There is some issue. Maybe I'll select any material which is already available. Okay, foreign trade export. Let me see if foreign trade import is also there. No issues. But under which plant it is available, that is a question. Only one plant, okay. Okay. So this is the foreign trade export tab available in the material master. Okay, before I talk about this, let me give you some background about foreign trade. What is foreign trade management? So if you are in the business in which you keep on doing the foreign trade transactions, like you export the materials or you import the material. So there are some kind of reportings, there are some kind of compliance which is required, and you need to present these reports to comply with the foreign trade regulations. That is the reason in SAP core business functionalities, SAP has provided functionalities like foreign trade management. This foreign trade management can be used within and SD. So for imports, we track some of the important things in and for export, we track some of the important things from the sales point of view. Now, this foreign trade management and SD foreign trade management, this is a very old feature which was provided by SAP in very older days, where there were not much of complications in the compliance. Okay, very basic things you can report directly using and SD foreign trade management. But when, as you know, that day to day the compliances are becoming difficult, so SAP already delivered a complete solution on that called as Global Trade Services, SAP GTS. And as you know, SAP GTS is not something which is available on the core system. It is again needs to be installed on the separate system. Okay, so most of the clients who are actually doing the complete compliance from SAP, they are already migrated to SAP GTS. Okay, but still there are some customers who were using, let's say, some third-party tools, and they were getting only basic requirements from SAP in the form of foreign trade management. So both the options in ECC were available. If you want some basic reporting, you can use foreign trade management. If you want advanced reporting, you go to Global Trade Services, that is GTS. But now with SAP S4HANA, SAP is trying to remove the functionalities which are not being used by number of clients. Okay, they are only focusing on the functionalities which are being used globally. So if the old functionalities which are very old, they are anyways not being used by the clients, let's say it is only being used by less than 5% of the customers. So they want to concentrate on the new functionalities, and they are looking to obsolete, make these functionalities obsolete. That is the reason this foreign trade management has been decided as making it obsolete. So in SAP S4HANA, foreign trade functionality is not available. Okay, so if you were complying with your foreign trade regulations by using this component, now mandatorily you need to move to GTS. That is the only solution. Okay, while if I show you what all reportings were possible in traditional foreign trade management, you can see there were the reportings possible from foreign trade data. So you were entering this intra-state kind of fields here. There were some origin EU market organization preferences kind of fields that you were entering in the material master, and legal control. So exemption certificate number, this all things you were allowed to enter here and they were appearing in your reporting. Now, from the intrastate point of view, this reporting is only supported as of now, but again that is short term. Going forward, the foreign trade functionality is completely going to be obsolete. So only this section, foreign trade data and origin, only these two fields I think. All other fields like CAP, product list number, product group, preference status, even this exemption certificate, these are all gone. They will not be available anymore. So if you compare this ECC screen where you were allowed to enter all these reporting fields, okay, now if you compare with this new structure with new foreign trade or new system SAP S4HANA where foreign trade is not supported, you can only see these intrastate kind of fields plus two fields from origin, but all other fields like this, they are no more available. Solution, as I told you, all these fields, where are they available now? They are available in GTS. So if you want to comply with foreign trade regulations, SAP is recommending go for global trade services. That is the only solution provided by SAP starting from SAP S4. Okay, this is one thing. Same thing you will find in case of foreign trade import also. This is for export. Same fields are available in case of import. I'll proceed. Sorry, this is ECC. Let me go to S4 first. Purchasing, no change. If there is any change, we'll talk about later. Foreign trade import, you can see same thing. So even in foreign trade, the additional fields which are available for enhanced reporting, advanced reporting, they are no more available. Okay, so these are the changes from the foreign trade point of view. So you must now know that foreign trade management is something which has been completely replaced with GTS. There is no foreign trade management in SAP S4HANA. Coming to MRP now. So again, if I talk about MRP, there is a simplification. I'll say most important simplification from logistics point of view in SAP S4HANA is simplifying the MRP. Because as you know, MRP is a very critical business activity that most of the organizations who are handling stocks, they are using this MRP functionality. And more the number of stock, more is a time required to execute the MRP run. Okay, that is the reason you must be knowing that the MRP is normally scheduled to execute in the nights. Okay, but what is happening is they are taking lot of time, they are taking lot of system resources, and at the same time, because it is scheduled in the nights, you are not getting the real-time insight. So if I'm, let's say at 4 p.m. in a day, whatever reports I'm getting, these reports are coming around 12 or 16 hours back. Okay, so I'm not getting the current position, I'm only getting the position which is day -1. So in order to make that simplification, SAP has come up with something called as MRP Live, which is real-time MRP, which you can run anytime, which will not consume too much of system resources. You will be getting the MRP results within the seconds or maybe maximum if there are a lot of materials in the minutes, but not in hours. Okay, so with MRP Live in place, there are a lot of simplifications, there are a lot of fields which are completely removed because they are not considered anymore. There are a lot of things like storage location MRP which is not required anymore. There is subcontracting MRP, the logic has been completely changed. So all this simplification has made some changes in the material master. So there are some fields which were available in MRP area or MRP tab of the material master which are completely removed. Okay, so I think this will make sense more when we'll be trying to understand the MRP functionality. So as of now, just understand that there are some MRP fields which are removed from material master. But when we'll talk about MRP more, we'll see the entire end-to-end scenario, then you'll be able to understand why these fields which are available till now are removed completely. Okay, so these are the changes related to MRP. Any questions? No question? Yes, Terry, thanks for advice. This should be 11 in order to identify. Okay, let me just complete this so that this material can be used for our scenarios. We don't have any MRP controller, so I'll create a new one. Define MRP controllers. Maybe I'll just copy. Okay, so material has been created. So now since we have a material which we can use to demonstrate a scenario, we also have a vendor. I think yesterday we just created the customers. So let me just create one or two vendors so that we'll be ready to start the transactions. Okay, so we'll create some of the purchase requisitions, purchase orders. Okay, and I'll show you the difference. The way in which you create the purchase requisitions and purchase orders, not much change. Only thing is you have some simplified user experience, which I'll show you how to create the purchase orders. But the change actually starts from the output determination. So today when you create a purchase order, you are able to see the output determination based on the configuration that you set in transaction code NACE. Now going forward, there is a new technology in place which is going to replace NACE. So as of today, both are available. You can use NACE or you can use the new configuration also. But going forward, NACE is going to be completely removed, but that will definitely take time. So BRF Plus is a new thing which I'm talking about that will take over. Okay, so it is recommended by SAP that wherever possible, if you think that whatever features you are looking for, they are already available in BRF Plus, go for it. If you think that some of the features which I was able to use in NACE, they are still not available in BRF Plus, in that case only stay with NACE as of now. But once you know that now I think all the features are available, you can move to BRF Plus later on. Okay, so that is one thing which we'll see, the new output determination. And the other important change is when you try to do the MIGO or any kind of material movement, whenever you save a material movement transaction, it will ask you to activate material ledger. Earlier in ECC, it was not mandatory. So you can do your inventory transactions without any kind of restriction. But now, if you want to do any materials movement, material ledger is mandatory. So these are the two things which we'll focus on. We'll see how to determine the new output type, how to use BRF Plus to set the configuration, and we'll also see how to activate the material ledger functionality, what will be the impact, what will be the simplification in that, which tables were used earlier, and how those tables are going to be completely vanished now. Okay, so we'll talk about that later on, but now as I told you, I'll just show you uh, how to create a vendor. Yesterday we already created some customers, but let's create one or two vendors now so that we can use those vendors and material masters to proceed with our scenario. So I'm going to transaction BP. This is one way, or you can also write XK01. It will automatically redirect the transaction to BP. Okay, so you click on organization. So since I came from XK01, system has identified that I'm actually going to create a vendor. Okay, under the role vendor. I'm creating the business partner under this role, which is vendor. So here I don't have any option to provide vendor account group. Okay, but I can provide the business partner grouping. And my business partner grouping, as I shown you yesterday, this is one-to-one assigned with my vendor account group. So as soon as I select a grouping, when I'll create a vendor out based on this grouping, vendor account group will be selected, and based on that my vendor number will be generated. Okay, so I'll use this grouping 0001 for this role. This is fine. So I'll enter the other information, like this is my test vendor for SL11. Okay, I'll go to company code data. I'll provide the reconciliation account, which is accounts payables. Okay, so this is, I'm done from company code point of view, which means I entered the financial information. But if I want to use this vendor for purchasing, for creation of purchase order, as you know, I need to create this vendor also under the role FLVN01. Okay, what is FLVN01? It is the vendor under the purchasing org. So I'll go to purchasing, enter the purchasing organization, which is SL11. Order currency is the only mandatory field. I'll just enter INR and click on save. Okay, so now this is a vendor. Where can I find the vendor number? One option is you go to FLVN00 company code, you'll find the vendor number here. Other option is you go to general data. In vendor general data, here also you'll find the vendor number. Okay, so this is more feasible. I think you don't need to every time go into the company code tab. You can go into the business partner vendor general data and you will be able to find this vendor number. Okay, so this vendor we'll use and the material that we just created to create some transactions and see how it is different than ECC. Okay, I think we completed early today. If you have any questions, you can ask. Otherwise, I think it will be good if we start the transactions from completely fresh session, because when we talk about output determination, it is not something which we can complete in half an hour. Any questions? Okay, there is one question. Okay, this is not a question. Any other questions?
Hi Gaurav, Vivek here.
Yes.
So my question is as you know, in ECC for this customer account group, we have a configuration in a single window, right? This is OVT0. So in the same way, do we have a single window configuration in SAP S4HANA?
Sorry, can you just come back?
So I'm just talking about the account group OVT0 in ECC.
Okay.
So that we use for complete configuration on a particular account group, right? So is same way, is it available in SAP S4HANA for a customer account group, or is
Yes,
it different?
Same. Yesterday you were not available?
Yeah, I was there, but I didn't. I mean, I could see that you were going to different places through SPRO navigations. I was little confused.
Okay. Yeah, the same thing is available. See, what is happening is, as I told you, when you create a new business partner, why you are creating this new business partner? Either you want to extend this as a vendor or the customer, right? Now, in your example, you are saying I want to create a customer. So if I select here FLCU00, which is FI customer, Now here you can see this is grouping. Okay, according to this grouping, your customer account group will be called in the background, and whatever configurations you have done in customer account group, they will be available here, even the field control and the number. See, normally what you configure in the account group, you control the field, this one selection, sorry, field mandatory or whether it field control, and you control the number range. So both of these things, the number range and field control, it is still being handled from customer account group.
Yeah. And also we have a configuration for output in account group as well in ECC.
Output, yes, output we'll talk about, because when you're talking about the master data, I think output is not relevant, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll talk about output separately, because output is something which I told you we are going to discuss in the next class, because the output determination, we need to create an entire cycle, and I need to show you how it was handled in NACE and how it will be handled now in SAP S4.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? Pradeep is having the question, can we match vendor customer number with BP number? Pradeep, can you unmute yourself and tell me what exactly you mean?
Hi, Gaurav. I just wanted to know if we can have the same number for the BP as well as the customer or vendor numbers, so that they are in
Yes.
sync. Is
Yes,
there a
yes,
possibility?
yes, Pradeep, you were not there yesterday or what?
I had a lot of network issues, so it's on and off. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, actually we spoke about this yesterday. When you create a, let me go back to, okay, one of the customer I think we created yesterday. Let me just try to find that out. So it was SL11. Yes, I think this one. See, 70105. Okay, so here you can see this customer 70105 is having the same code as business partner. Okay, which means it is possible, and it is also recommended by SAP. But what happens is this business partner number, it is generated based on the business partner grouping that you are selecting, right? Grouping is assigned to the number range, and our customer number is coming from customer account group. Okay, so both of these number ranges must be same. Let's say, for example, if I'm saying business partner is starting from 1 to 100, then this number range also should start from 1 to 100. It should not be 100 and 1 to 200. One thing.
Right.
Second thing is
No overlap.
this. Yeah. Second thing is this can be either internal or external. Okay. So whatever number is generated for business partner, you want to make sure same number is generated for customer. So because you are taking over the number from business partner, this customer number range must be always external, because it is taking the data from here. And the place where you can configure all these things is under the SPRO, cross application components, master data synchronization, customer vendor integration. This is the same thing which we discussed yesterday. So if I go to customer, field assignment, assign keys, this place. So this is where you specify that, okay, if this is my business partner grouping, this is assigned to customer account group DEBI. Okay, and here you can specify if you want to have the same number. If you click on the same number, then only system will pick same number for customer which is already provided to the business partner.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, there is another question. Do we have any changes in MRP 1, 2, 3, 4 view? Yes, we talked about. I told you in MRP there are some simplifications. There is a new functionality called as MRP Live, due to which there are a lot of changes in storage location MRP, subcontractor MRP, quota arrangement. So there are a lot of things which are changed, but again, it will not make sense if I talk about them now, because first you need to understand what is MRP Live. So I just given you the background that yes, there is some changes in the MRP view. What is the change that we will discuss when we talk about the MRP Live functionality. Okay. Okay, if no questions, we can close early today, and we'll meet again on Saturday with the real-time transactions. We'll start with procure to pay. Okay, once we complete procure to pay, then only we'll move to order to cash, and finally PP, production planning. Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, Gaurav, 1 second.
Yes, yes.
So Gaurav, I think this custom code analyzer you talked about earlier. So is this something
Mhm.
a technical thing, or is you also can show us in this session?
I'll be talking about that during the conversion process. So as I told you, we are currently in initial phase. We are just starting like a new implementation, right? We configured everything from scratch. We created the master data. We created the enterprise structure. But this is only in case of new implementation. If you are going for the conversion project where
Okay.
customer is already using ECC and they now want to move to SAP S4, during that time, these tools will be required. So at that time, I'll focus on this tool. But this tool, I'll be able to just tell you what exactly this is and how exactly you need to run it. But in this system, we cannot run because it requires custom code analyzer will work on your current ECC system. Okay, I think if I give you the background now, it will be very difficult for you to understand. But we'll talk about that in the conversion process.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Bye.